I don't know. I just took a shower and it's so hot outside. But I thought this would be nice. So I'm gonna answer some money questions that have to do with the book. And it's just gonna be cool and cash. This is my favorite mug, which I'll show you guys first. It says, after this, you should probably get going. Useful. Okay, so I wrote down some questions that you guys asked me about money and about the book. So I'm gonna read those. Okay, question 1. Will it be available on Audible? Yes, the book will be available as an audiobook at some point. I don't know when. I would love to read it. If I don't get to read it, then I would love for it to be read by Oprah. That's reaching for the stars. I would love if Janelle Monáe read it. I'm just thinking of pop stars. None of those people, I mean, I guess they know about money. Anyway, Janelle Monáe, read my money book. It's not in your wheelhouse at all. Although you could do anything. Are you the same girl from JBU? Yes. I would buy it, but I should probably save money. That's smart. That's smart. So here's the paradox. When you write a book about money, what's hard is, then you have to get people to buy it. And the problem is that those people who would most need this book probably don't have the money. Are we enjoying the sounds of outside right now? So it's tough because the people that would probably need the book the most maybe can't afford it. So a good thing to do would be maybe to like buy it for one of your friends, or buy multiple copies and then leave one at like a book depository, or leave one at your local library, or have a yard sale or something, and sell it for a discounted rate. I can't tell you to do that. That's maybe illegal. I think also maybe think of it as an investment in trying to be better with money. It is, right? Because if anything that you get you'll actually read and listen to and will actually motivate you to do better, why not? It's like any other kind of small step that you take. Can you be bad with money without having any money? Yes, absolutely you can. Welcome to my life. Hello, I'm Gabby Dunn. This is my whole deal. You can be bad with money when you have a lot of money. It has nothing to do with the amount of money you have. It has to do with the way that you handle money. Where can I buy? There will be links in the bio and in the description and everywhere that you would be interested in looking for a link, because I'm gonna make it my link on everything. Instagram bio, YouTube description, Tinder. I only read fantasy novels. Will I like this? Yeah. Favorite topics that I covered in the book. Okay, I really love the mental health chapter. I think that's a huge thing that we don't talk about when it comes to money, is the mental health aspects of it. Whether it's the mental health that comes with beating yourself up over a money decision, or the mental health stuff that leads to making poor money decisions. That's one of my favorite chapters. Also talking about credit cards and the racism in the credit card industry was a really cool chapter to research. And also talking to the high school kids that I interviewed for the book, because I believe the children are our future. Do you cover investing? Yes, we do. We have a chapter about investing. We have a chapter that talks about my experience with Bitcoin, a couple of my friends' experiences with cryptocurrency, and also about the investment gap in terms of gender. Is it relevant to people outside the U.S.? I think it is, because I think it covers the mental and psychological and taboo aspects of money, almost as much as it covers every other aspect of money. And so I think it's really important for anyone in any part of the world to hear that there are systems in place that are keeping us at the status quo, and that it's not all your fault, and that you should be able to talk to your friends about money and how to do that, and how to eliminate the shame and the stigma. And even if the political advice doesn't necessarily affect your country specifically, I'm sure there is some sort of equivalent that you can take to heart and look into. And it can, think of the book as a motivator with practical steps. How can I stop spending on stupid things? That's a great question, and it is addressed in the book. Ratio of advice to queer musings. That wasn't the actual question, but that was kind of what they were asking. It's a solid mix, I would say. The book is obviously very intersectional, and I wanted to do that because there are not a lot of money books that are intersectional. Money books are just for cis-het, white dudes, able-bodied, etc., in a certain economic bracket. And this book is trying to fill in the gaps of that other demographic that's almost never spoken to. Does it cover budgeting? Hardcore covers budgeting. Yes. But it's not budgeting shaming. I do not talk about you know, in the way that like Susie Orman or Dave Ramsey would, like how you have to do this and you have to do that, and if you don't, you're a bad person, blah, blah, blah. It's very like, here are the options, here's what could work for you. I really am not trying to be condescending at all, and I feel like a lot of budgeting advice is super condescending, so the book really tries to avoid that. Is there new info in the book? Almost entirely new info. A lot of new info, a lot of stuff about my family, a lot of stuff about my life, some secrets that I've never revealed, a lot of stupid mistakes that I've made, although we're all on a journey. International shipping. I assume so in some places. For the first book I wrote, we had to like sell it in other countries in order for it to come out there. So I think it just depends. Like if it's like the UK or Australia or something, I think usually it can ship there. In some places it can, but other places I think we had to do deals to like translate it into that language. So I'll keep you guys up to date on that. Book tour. I hope so. I would love to go on a book tour. I would love to go to a bunch of different cities. I would love to go to LGBTQ centers. If you run one, please let me know. And I would love to do readings, and I would love to do like interviews with money people in different cities. When the book comes out in January, that'll come up more. Does it talk about debt? Yes, absolutely. Debt is a huge part of the book. It's a huge part of my life. I have debt. I'm slowly crawling my way out of it. The book talks about debt a lot, and student loans and other kinds of debt, and about my personal debt and my personal spending, and a lot of embarrassing, really terrible numbers that I can't even believe I'm revealing to you guys because it's mortifying. And I imagine people will read the book and then yell at me. You know, I'm opening myself up to the risk of like, well, that was a terrible decision, which fucking duh, I wrote about it in the book. Or, I can't believe you did that with that money. Here's what I would have done. Yeah, I know, I'm a bad person. Or, right? Okay, and that's the fucking thing. I default to I'm a bad person, and other people default to you're a bad person, and we have to stop that. So actually, anyone who's like yelling at me for the specifics in the book are kind of playing exactly into the type of taboo I'm trying to get rid of. And also, it's terrifying. It's terrifying to say specific numbers of how much debt I'm in, or what I spent money on, or what I used credit cards for. I mean, I'm fully prepared to just be like reamed out and raked over the coals. But I think that I'm preparing myself to do it in the hopes that it helps other people feel comfortable to be able to speak their truth also. So let's read some Instagram questions that you guys sent. Oh no, did my phone overheat? Oops. Hold on. My phone overheated, so I'm just sitting here trying to get it to turn back on so I can answer your questions that I wrote down. And also I'm eating a plum, which is the lesbian version of Call Me By Your Name. It's not. Okay. What's the most important concept about money that you learned while writing that doesn't get taught to people? That there's no one-size-fits-all answer. A lot of these money experts, they put out their book, and I get it, it sells. Like, this is what you need to do, is you need to say, this is the answer, and then people buy the answer. And then they feel bad when the answer doesn't apply to them. But there's not one answer. It's not the answer. There are multiple answers. So I tried to make the book very inclusive. I felt like that was what I learned, was that that's actually, I think, more valuable and more useful than a lot of the money books that come out that just try to sell you with like a quick solution, when there isn't any one solution, and money is so multifaceted that I think the idea that anyone is telling you that this is the way you have to do it, or this is the way it has to be, it has to be so you can clean up your act, I think is a charlatan. What advice would you give to aspiring writers? I would say it doesn't have to be perfect, it just has to be done. The Gabby Dunn motto. Basically, this book went through so many edits. I turned it in January, I edited it again in April, I edited it again in May, I edited it again, you know what I mean? Like, I edit. So I really didn't turn in a finalized draft until July. And when I looked back on what I had written in January, I was like, who wrote that? That person was garbage. And so I think, like, you just have to, you can't worry about getting it perfect on the first try. You just have to keep going, and like you just have to get it done, and then you can go back and edit. But if you don't finish it, you don't have anything to edit. It's better to have something to work with that you think is bad than to have nothing. Oh my God, which of my 2 books am I the most proud of? Come on, guys, I can't choose. That's like choosing between your children, although I know my parents like me the best. Is the book more finances and feelings or more topics? Both. It's both, and it's new stuff. and it's both of those things. Thank you for knowing the Finances and Feelings brand. I really appreciate it. Is it a paper version of the podcast? No. A lot of you guys are asking me that. It is not a paper version of the podcast. It is new stuff, new essays, new research. It's a nonfiction book. I went to school for journalism. I'm a journalist. The book is like a grown-ass adult, researched. I interviewed people. I had a research assistant. The book is like I don't know how else to explain it. Straight up nonfiction book, baby. I'm hoping to become someone who can speak to the truths about money for people my age and for people who don't fit in to the general idea of what money marketing is marketed towards or what money products are marketed towards. There's a whole segment of like queer, marginalized, people of color, disabled, all of the above, neuroatypical, whatever, people who money stuff isn't catered to them. And so I wanted to put out a researched, smart book that is for those people. Hopefully I did it. Who's the book dedicated to? It's a secret for now. But I mean, I think it might be easy to guess who it's dedicated to based on some stuff that's gone on lately. What are you most excited for us to read in the book? I'm most excited for you to read about my mental health journey because I don't think I've shared enough of it. And I think I kind of take a step back on that because I feel like I've put myself in a place where LGBTQ stuff is my brand and mental health stuff hasn't really been part of my brand, although it's not really a brand, it's your real life. So I kind of am more explicit about what's gone on with me in that regard and tell some really scary stories that I've never told before. Do you discuss money issues specific to queer people, i.e. starting a family? 100%. I absolutely do, and queer weddings. Obviously, financial advice is good for any age, but how well would this book suit an 18 to 22-year-old? Perfectly. My copy editor, who's an older woman, read it and said she would absolutely, when it comes out, buy it for her daughter, her teenage daughter. So that's a really good thumbs up of approval. What was the most difficult chapter to write and why? Probably the ones where I don't have it all figured out yet, because I think there's something tempting about being like, I have all the answers, here are all the answers. And for student loans, I'm still in student loan debt. So it's not like I'm writing as someone who's come out the other side. I'm writing as someone who is like you, who is in this with you, who's just done a lot of research to try to get herself into a better situation, but who is not an expert, is not, someone who's like, now I'm a millionaire and I have it all figured out and here's me telling you how to do what I did, because I could never be that. And I don't think there's one journey for everyone where I could tell you what I did and you could just replicate that, because that's not how career or money works at all. And it's tempting to be like, well, let me try to figure it out because I have to give people an answer. But I think giving people multiple answers is okay, and I think giving people the answers that work for me is okay, and not pretending like I have some sort of omnipresent knowledge that you don't have, that I'm better than you, because I think it's like important that I kept all the chapters as like I am like you, and that's where I hope you see the book coming from, and that's where I hope it speaks to you. What's the hardest thing about writing a book? Oh my God, sitting down and writing it. I mean, someone else asked how long have you been working on the book? Like a couple years, and it's really hard because for nonfiction you have to write out like a whole book proposal, like a whole if people are interested, maybe if you comment and say you're interested, I can talk about the whole process of writing a book proposal, but you have to write a proposal for the book, which is like a long thing basically explaining what each chapter is going to be and what the book is going to be before you even really know. You're kind of just bullshitting. And then also figuring out what to cut. I mean, there are whole chapters that I cut, long nights and sitting and trying to make a schedule for yourself. So like, because it's not like a day job, you have to be your own boss. So like if you're writing a book, you have to be like 9 a.m. I start, 5 p.m. I finish, but no one's in charge of you. So like 3 of those hours could be spent just like looking at Detective Carisi's face and thinking about how beautiful he is. That's an SVU reference. Also, someone once told me, my therapist actually said, that part of the process is what gets you to the writing. So don't feel bad about procrastinating, because whatever you're doing to procrastinate is part of your process. I think she was being super nice when she said that, but take it into account. Well, I hope that helped, and I hope that these questions were really good. Leave a comment if you have other questions, and also leave a comment if you want me to do maybe a whole video just about book proposals. Anyway, I'm Gabby Dunn. Links are below to get the book. It comes out in January, but if you pre-order it, it really helps me. I'm sure you guys remember from I Hate Everyone But You how important it was to pre-order because I Hate Everyone But You ended up getting on the New York Times bestseller list. And the reason it was able to get on the New York Times bestseller list and the reason it was able to be such a success is really honestly just because of you guys and your willingness to pre-order, and that was so meaningful and wonderful. And I know this is a very different book from I Hate Everyone But You, and I hope that this book is super helpful. Nonfiction is really hard to write because you have to just sit there and research and do basically journalism, which I did go to school for. I think the people who read I Hate Everyone But You know that I went to school for journalism. But this is real. This book is real. This book is truthful. This book is me interviewing my family, me looking back into my past, me looking at old diary entries to get dates right and stuff. So fiction is hard because you have to have an imagination to make stuff up, but nonfiction was just so taxing because I had to do so many interviews and so much research. Shout out to my research assistant Emily, who's probably going to also edit this video. So yeah, it would mean a lot to me if you made all of that worth it. I believe so strongly in my message of intersectional money, and I believe so strongly in the idea that money advice should be for everyone, and I'm just a small voice in this big pond of money people who are really only one type of person, and I just really want to make my voice have a little more impact. So anyway, thank you so much, and I love you guys. Bye.